Hi, I want to thank you all for joining us today. With us is Mo, and this is part of our Apache's ongoing API Heritage Month series. So feel free to look out for all of our other videos that we have going on this month, as well as these will live on our website afterwards. So if you're watching these in the future from API Heritage Month, just click around and see the rest of our content. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let Mo take it away.
Hi, everyone. Am I currently on now?
Yep, you're on.
Okay, perfect. So today is about self-defense, and I'm very, very excited about this. So I want to introduce myself first. I have over 20 years of practicing and teaching experience of various martial arts. And for me, what I found is that there are a lot of things that are in common with a lot of martial arts, because the thing is, the body is not that different. And not just that it's not that different, but hurting people or fighting or self-defense, however that you want to call it, is the same. And I think in that way, I want you to know that you don't need to necessarily know how to fight in a kind of traditional martial arts way to really be able to defend yourself and hurt someone else if someone's trying to hurt you. So I want to just make sure that you know what this seminar is and what this seminar is not. First, this seminar is not hands-on. So just the nature of this being a online experience, I feel that what I can tell you and what I can show you in ways that are more foundational would be more important than for me to kind of teach you moves in what people would think as a traditional self-defense class. Because I'm not with you, it's very hard for me to do things like corrections. And because I can't do things like a correction, I don't want to teach you something wrong, right? Because I can't correct you right now. And to be honest, when you're in a situation where you need to use an actual physical self-defense move, you can't think. It has to be second nature. So if you have to think about it, it's not going to work. So I want you to have these foundational things where I think that is more important for you to know to save your life than it is for you to feel like, okay, I remember that seminar that I should use this move. And once you have to think about it, it's over. It's already past that opportunity. Okay. So that being said, I want you to sit down. If you're standing up ready to do something more physically active right now, sit down. And if anything, you could grab like paper and pen. You could jot down notes. What I really want you to do is make sure that you are really listening to what I'm saying and really ingraining to you the foundations that I'm going to tell you. And also, the next thing that this seminar is not is mediation or any type of de-escalation, like verbal de-escalation techniques. This seminar is more about you learning how to fight. And in that, that being said, I'm already going to assume that you have tried any type of de-escalation or mediation. Okay? You're at the point where you're not dealing with a person who is reasonable. Okay, so let's just say that you're no longer dealing with a person that's reasonable, and this is the time that you need to now be very physical. Okay, so these are the things I'm going to be teaching in this seminar, where you can't get away from it necessarily. I'm not saying you got to run away. It's now that you're in a tussle, right? So I think there's a place for verbal de-escalation. It's just not what I'll be teaching in this seminar. Okay, so this is beyond that. Okay, so this is you try to make peace, get away, peacefully, and it didn't work. So now what do you do? What we're going to go through is 4 things today that happens after you've tried to use your words and it didn't work. The first one is when does it become a physical altercation? Then we're going to discuss just basic fighting concepts. Then we're going to discuss the best way to use your own strengths, because we all have different strengths. And then lastly, we're going to talk about weapons, because It seems like weapons, for some reason, is one of the things that people ask about the most. So we will talk about things like pepper spray. Okay, so the when to fight. Okay, the when to fight part is actually the hardest. I personally think when to fight is hard for people who know how to fight, because once you fight, you have to really commit to it, right? So knowing when to really turn on that switch where you're not this nice person anymore, okay, you have to commit to saying, okay, I know that now it's gonna be me or you, it's gonna be my life or your life. Okay, so you have to commit to that. So the when to fight will be something that you really need to think about yourself and what you're comfortable with for that boundary. And we're going to discuss the different boundaries, and you have to decide for yourself when you feel like, okay, for me, this is at a place where I will punch him. This is at a place where I will, hurt him, or I will kill him, right? Or her, right? So the first thing you need to do when knowing when to fight is first, honestly, just being aware of what's around you. I find that there's two types of people in the world. Is one, when there's danger around you, you become more aware. Like for me, I if I have headphones on, I'm taking my headphones off. I'm listening. If I had a phone on me, if I needed to study something, I'm putting that down. Okay. Now there's the other side. We have someone else that might actually be the opposite, which this is where there's danger. If you're the type that as danger, you feel danger around you, if you want to hide, that's a problem. It's normal to feel that way. Okay? It's normal to feel like there's danger around me, and I feel like someone is looking at me like they're trying to come at me soon, or they're trying to whatever it is. If you start to have that, instinctual feeling that I'm in danger, but your reaction is to look at your phone and put your head down to look at your phone, or your instinct is, you know what, I'm just gonna put on my headphones really loud, almost like it's not happening to you, then that is the problem, because you're not actually away from the danger. It's not like nature where, okay, the feeling of hiding actually works. Like in nature, you might be like, okay, I'm gonna go hide, and you physically actually do go hide somewhere, right? And you do get invisible, or you do get, you do find a safe space. But on the train, you can't do that, right? On a train platform, on the street. And if you feel unsafe, it's better to be more aware of what's around you than it is to hide. But I do find that a lot of people, instinct-wise, is to hide. Okay, so just know this. So know that when you start to feel that way, or if you feel that way, catch that and be like, okay, why do I feel like I need to hide? Is it because I feel like I'm in danger? If I feel like I'm in danger, is actually putting my face to my phone actually better than actually looking around me and making sure that I'm just aware of my space, right? So that's the first thing, is just your awareness of where you are, who's around you, how much space is between you and other people. That's very important. The next one is eye contact. So eye contact is debatable. Okay? It really depends on who you are. It's more of a personality thing. Some people feel that eye contact might actually make someone more aggressive. So if you look at the person in the eyes, you might feel like, oh no, like, am I in some way kind of challenging them, right? So I understand why eye contact can feel confrontational. So it is really up to you with this one. Personally, for me, at a certain point of feeling like there's aggression, I will make the eye contact. And just to say, because I think that you can show a lot through your eyes. Okay? So much can be said through your own body language. And for me, I think when you look at someone in the eyes, what you're saying is, if you try anything right now, I will hurt you. If you hurt me, I'm not going to let you hurt me. I will hurt you if you try anything with me. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say with my eye. Okay, so I don't even need to say words, right? Because there's a lot of emotions through just direct eye contact at someone, right? So some people, I understand it's not that comfortable with this eye contact thing, because you might feel like, oh my God, if I do the eye contact, they see right through me and that I'm just scared, you know, and I get that. So what I tell other people is there's this good old saying from someone who used to play Michael Jordan in the NBA. And what he said was, when you play Jordan, if you look him in the eyes, he's gonna feel like you are challenging him, and then he's gonna destroy you. If you don't look at Michael Jordan in the eyes, he's gonna find it insulting, because it's almost like you don't care about him, right? You don't think that he is enough. So then he will destroy you if you don't look at him in the eyes. So how you play Michael Jordan is you look around Michael Jordan as if you drop change around him and you want to find your change. And that is the best way I can put for if you feel like there's danger, but you don't want to look at them in the eyes, you should really still watch them, but you don't have to look at them in the eyes. You just have to make sure that you're keeping a safe distance, right? That you still feel safe, right? That you know where they are. So I like the, just telling people that story, like, you just kind of look around them like you're looking for change, okay? Because as long as you know where that the other person is, that is making you feel uncomfortable, you'll be okay, right? You keep that distancing, right? You feel that energy, know that you're safe, right? But don't not look at the person. Don't like ignore someone that you feel like could be threatening. Okay, now ultimately, this question on when to fight, for me, I'm just saying for me, is the first touch. So the first touch means if someone grabs me in any way, for me, from where my moral stance is, I have the right to fight back, because a stranger who is threatening, just put their hand on me, I'm not going to find out more, right? Because fighting can be very, very quick, so I don't want to find out more. I don't know what else this person is doing. So for me, after the first touch, I'm already fighting. Now let's just say you don't want to do that. Okay. And I understand, like, maybe it was more innocent, maybe it was just one of these or something, maybe they're just asking you something and they just, right, like whatever it is, because I actually think that we make excuses for other people, whatever it is, because again, most people don't want to believe someone wants to physically hurt them at that situation, right? Like, I can't believe this is happening. But let's just say maybe it's not that, right? And someone just put the hand. What I would do, if someone put their hand on you, is instantly, do not wait, let go, and yell, don't touch me. Make sure everyone around you hears that, because it is a warning. You want to make it so loud that they're like shocked at how loud that you just said, don't touch me, and make sure you fling your hand or whatever it away, your body, whatever it is. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt, because what I think is most people ignore the intuition. When you feel like you are in danger or someone's not making you feel comfortable, you're probably right. Okay? There are many books on this, okay, that a lot of people kind of already had that feeling already before something happened to them. Okay, that there was signs, there's something in you as a creature that put those signals up, and for a reason. So I would say, if you don't want to, hit at the first touch, I would say that has to be the first thing you do. You have to yell very loud to not touch you, right? And then if they do it again for any reason, to me, that's I have to. You have to defend yourself, okay? Because that means they're not, even if you are being verbally aggressive to defend yourself and they're not listening, you have to do the next step, which is the physical round. Okay, I hope everything makes sense so far. Okay, next. this is where we're going to talk about the basic fighting concepts. So the first thing with this, the basic, we're talking about the raw basics, is never, ever, ever have your back against the wall. Okay. So there's certain things you want to live by. Just know is that, let's just say if someone hit you, right? Really, or even like a movie, and someone goes flying, the flying part is actually better than if someone got hit and their back was against a wall, they're close to the wall. Because this back and forth thing from the wall to that person's fist, let's just say they're hitting you constantly. What happens is that energy that you would have went flying goes actually back in you. So it's kind of like internal bleeding. That kind of shaking energy will come to the wall, go against you. And what happens with that is that's how people die. Okay, like, so if you could just imagine, like in movies where someone is like beating someone up against the wall, and you see like almost they're kind of almost wobbling back and forth because they're bouncing from the wall to their hands, right? And then they start like coughing blood through their mouth, right? It's that, like, it's actually quite easy to kill someone. So knowing that, you never, ever, ever, ever want to be against the wall. And there are exceptions. I don't want to like debate the exceptions, but if there are exceptions, it's because the person really knows martial arts. Okay. And I'm sure there's martial art movies and you see a lot of like moves and stuff. I would say in general though, and because the seminar is for just the general public, for you to know, is that get away from the wall. Because as long as you're moving away, you can still get away, right? Once the wall is there, you know, all it takes is just a crack in the ribs, and the ribs can go through your lungs, you know, and you can die, right? There's so much that can happen. And same thing for the ground. Okay, so you don't want to be on the ground. It's the same idea. Like, that's why any type of stomping on the ground, it's because you have no place to go, and all of that energy that would have went into the ground is going into you, and you're not flying away or not anything. So the ground is the same rule. Now let's just say you're on the ground. Okay. If you're on the ground, if you're trying to fight from the ground, you always fight from the side. Okay, you're on your side. Okay, kicking on your side. Okay, so because if they move the other direction, you can turn, and then you're also on the side, and you can kick, and you use one hand, one foot, and you're more maneuverable that way. But you don't go on your back. Don't go on like a crab with both hands are down. You're trying to kick this with that. That's not going to work. Okay. Also keep your chest away from the ground. Okay. Even when you're on your side, you're not being completely on the ground from your back down. Okay. You're having hand down, and your hips is on the ground. Okay. So that's how you fight from the ground. And maybe in the future, if we have opportunity to do a hands-on self-defense, I'll show you guys that, and we can do some techniques together, and we can drill some of that in. But just for you to know, you can practice that at home, just on your side. Make sure you stay on the side if you're going to fight. Okay. But the best thing is to not be on the ground, right? So if you're ever stuck on the ground, first thing you have to do is roll out of it. Okay. If someone is standing who's trying to hurt you and you're on the ground, you got to first get up, but you don't just stand up. Okay. If you just try to stand up, it's just going to hurt you, because the process of you standing up is too much time. No one can just stand up faster than someone that just comes down and tries to kick you or something, right? So what you would do is you would roll out of it. Now, there's many techniques to roll. Again, we're not going to get into that today, but just know in your mind, even if it's like the stop, drop, and roll, like you're on fire, just roll away from that person. Because the thing is, if someone is trying, let's just say, to kick you, if you're rolling away, it's actually a lot harder for them. They almost have to like chase you to kick you, right? It's actually hard. And to kick, you have to stop, put one foot forward, up. So it's not going to be easy for someone to like kick moving or kick trying to chase you or even reach down. So what you want to do is roll away, okay, and then stand up. Even if they're not trying to hurt you, even if you're not sure, just roll away, okay? even if it's an extra like 5 to 10 feet, I would say like try to roll like 10 feet away and then stand up, because it'll give you time to stand up before that person's right over you. If you try to stand up again with them right over you, you're just gonna get hurt more. Okay, so you gotta make sure you have a safe distance before you stand up. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, next. Okay, this is a almost. Okay. Almost never kicking. I say almost never kicking because unless you do martial arts, don't kick. I know that there's a common thing that people teach is kick someone in the groin. Like if it's a man, you kick them in the groin kind of thing. Or if you think that they have, something there for you to kick, right? So do not kick. And the reason why I say don't do it is because I think that there are safer ways to get out of the situation. If the kick doesn't land, you're in trouble. If the kick hits them in the leg in a way like on their thigh or something, like even just slightly over on that, and you really didn't get the spot, you're at such a disadvantage because you're on one leg, and usually people who kick will fall. Like if you didn't land the kick, or kick wasn't clean, or you're just not good at it. You're not good at, even when people learn how to kick in martial arts, you kick, you bring it out, and bring it back down, because you gotta get that foot back down on the ground as soon as possible, so you can be stable, right? No one wants to be on one leg. In martial arts or any type of fighting, being on one leg is not good. Okay, you do it knowing that there's the risk, and the risk is that they could catch your leg, you can fall. It's very easy. There are people who fall even kicking someone, because let's just say someone's significantly bigger than you or something. If you kick your foot and they're like just a heavy set person, you might actually fall back because you couldn't take the energy of your kick, and they just stay there and then you fall. I mean, that happens, right? So unless you think you have a perfect good snap kick into the groin or something like, actually for any gender, the groin would hurt, just so you know. All right, so it doesn't mean the groin. It would hurt for men, women, anyone in that spectrum. The area will hurt. Okay, so but unless you think that you can really get a nice clean shot, I say avoid it, because the other side is if you don't get it perfectly, or you fall, they catch your leg, or you even hit your leg, you're on the ground, and it's so unsafe on the ground. The risk isn't worth it. So that's a rule that I would say that you should have. Know that your safest bet is on 2 feet always. Next, I want to talk about short range. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna have you try some stuff on your own, just for a concept. So short range, let's just say someone tries to do a good old hook punch this way, like you see people just wailing at people doing hook punches, right? It's safer if your head, if someone just did one of these hook punches, it's safer if you put your head and you catch them in the forearms. So let's just say this: if I hook punch and someone just put their head here, this wouldn't hurt as much. If they slide their body in even more, my arm here really wouldn't hurt. It would probably be like a hug or something, right? So think of like a whip. The end of the whip hurts the most, right? Like if you whip someone or something that's like that snap, the end of the punch is where it will hurt the most. So a lot of times people want to like back away, and I get that too. But my opinion is, if you feel like it's coming, I personally think for you it's better to go forward than it is go back. Do short range, and the reason is because if you're backtracking, they can keep punching. It's easier for someone to go forward than for you to keep going back. All right. So backpedaling will never be as fast as someone coming forward at you. Okay. So and keep that in mind, that if someone's hitting and they're not sounding what's one after the other, then it's better for you to go into their space, because it's awkward for them. And it's going to feel awkward for you, but just know that that's better, because let's just say this, your face here, your ears, your temple is all in the front. Even if you duck forward a little bit. Let's just say hit the side of your head because it didn't, you didn't go in close enough to them. The back of the head can take a lot more, even if you feel yourself right now. It could take a whole lot more than if the same energy of hitting here to hit here, right? Like it'll hurt way more here. So you might as well go forward. You could do the whole thing like, with putting your hand up to protect your face, but at the same time, when you go in, you hit them. Okay, so when it comes to short range, you got to do a lot of small shots to the body, but a lot of shots because there's so many vitals right in the front of your body that the ribs, when you're in there, you could just come up, go uppercut, throat, right? All of this is exposed, okay? Even here, if you just touch this right here, which is, a lot of people just have this bump where the collarbones are. So right here, there's a notch, the sternal notch, just right above there. If you just touch there, you feel how sensitive that is, right? So even there, you could just, actually there's a movie from Jet Li from a long time ago where his friend had to stop him because he had his thumb on someone's throat right there. But remember when I said about the floor, the guy was on the floor. He has his hand throat right there. Someone had to stop him from like killing him because he can't breathe, right? So this is very sensitive. So I would say go in, you start doing a lot of shots to the body, a lot of shots, and then you can shove them away because it's a lot easier to shove someone away when they're close than when they're far. So if you think about it, like someone's here, if you push when they're just right there, you're not pushing them very far, but if they're closer to you and you're here, you could really shove them away. Okay, so you can shove them away, you can hit them. I would say that's a perfect time. When we talk about like hitting the groin, that's a perfect time to just take your hand and hit them in the groin. It doesn't take a lot, just hit them in the groin. So grab them in the groin. You could, there's so much that you can do when you're so close. You could scratch them in the eyes, right? So I would say a ton of body shots. And I personally, I don't do the, when people go side to side, this hook punch. I say hook punches only work really if you get someone's blind spot, because that's what it really is for, that they don't see it coming because it's a blind spot. But when you're that close, if you do hooks, it's very small and it's right to like someone's ribs, or you just go forward because I'll say in this type of punching, and then even if you ask Western boxers, this is some of the most powerful stuff because when your arm is perpendicular, it's actually very hard to stop this. Even if someone puts a hand there, you could just continue because this will slide right through, right? But here is actually easier to stop someone. Like if your arm is more horizontal, it's actually easier to stop someone, right? If you do this, than it is if you have your arms perpendicular. And it's not just like things like Wing Chun. It's a lot of styles will just hit with this forearm perpendicular, okay? And you can feel the difference. Like even if you have a friend or someone, you just do this, it doesn't take that much energy. It's really because the lack of energy it takes for the amount of blow, most people don't think it's effective. But I think it's actually more effective. You could try doing this to like a bag or a pillow and then do this, and you will find this is actually way more efficient, especially for a lot of shots. Okay, so close range. Okay, so if you find that they're going forward, sometimes it's better to go forward, back at them. Okay, don't pedal back. Let's just say if you're not comfortable with that. All right, so let's say you're not comfortable going into someone's like space. Let's say long range. Okay, long range, you have to do truly long range if you're going to do long range. And what I mean by that is, I'm just going to talk a little kung fu. There's short fist style, and then there's long fist style. So short fist style is what you would see like Wing Chun, white eyebrow, praying mantis, short fist. It's more like street fighting. But long fist style is what you see like Shaolin. It's almost like these big, you see these big, the arms like just swinging. That swinging is not just for show. Okay, so let's just say this. You want to be like further away and like hit. Like let's say you step back and you want it to be like, okay, I'm going to hit you from afar. Think of your arm like a bat, okay? Don't do the, oh, I'm gonna here, don't do this mid-range thing. If you're gonna go far and pretend like your arm's a bat, and what you can do is hammer down, or just go cross. Think of your arm like a bat, like almost like that whip we're talking about. The end of your hand, generate that momentum, because that momentum of it coming down is like a hammer. Okay. So this is where I want you to just practice this right now. Take your hand and in the palm. Okay, so here on the palm end, like the very corner, there's a bone. It's called the pisiform bone. Okay? And it kind of does stick out. You do feel it. Like it's kind of pointy. And in this pointy, so not the back of the hand. I know that some people might see like, oh, there's a bump over here. No, that's a different bone. I'm talking about more towards the palm, corner, and the bottom. Take that bone. Okay, that's the bone. That's the baby right there. You take your hand. Take the other hand like this. That bone, and gently tap. Use that bone. Feel that bone. Find the spot and gently tap. Chop down. Chop. What you're gonna find. First, you have to learn what you're feeling. Okay, really need to feel that bone, that part, and just come down on your arm. Okay. I want you to get used to just feeling that, because you're gonna find that it actually hurts a lot more than you think, right? And that little bone coming down hurts a lot more than if you were to do this or even that, or even honestly punch it. Okay, right? This one bone coming straight down. Okay, and now from here, this hand just turn this way. Okay, where it's more bony here, and now try for accuracy. Okay, so right now try and connect that little bone onto your radius. Okay, this is the radius bone. Connect. You feel that actually really hurts, right? It's very sensitive. If you came down in full force and in a hammer, right? A lot of times you see people do these in martial arts, like these like much straight arm swings. What are they swinging? It really is these hammer energy. You don't think of the hammer energy, because you're swinging almost like hammer's cross or a bat cross someone. Okay, just think of your arm as a bat. You want to swing across. If you limp it and have the arm kind of bent, you're not going to get that effect. What you need to do is think of, okay, I'm far enough away, just go for it. Because right now, especially when you're new and you're just in a situation that you probably don't have as much accuracy, you would hope for it, but you just have to go for it. Okay, so here, if you were to go across this way, I would do the knuckles this way. Okay, it will hurt. Okay, it's not just the traditional knuckles here. No, you could hit right here. It would hurt too. Some people do this with do this with their thumb, so that they should just hit flat. It doesn't matter if you have your thumb there, you just catch your thumb a little bit, but the point is to hit them across this way, right? Squeeze your fist tight on contact. Okay. You loosen your fist and you squeeze it tight. You really squeeze your fist tight on the contact. Okay. So if you get really tight before the contact, it'll actually slow you down. So think of just a normal swing, and then once you hit, you gotta squeeze nice and tight. And same thing here. If you go like across, if you go across for any reason, especially if you're like here or across, you could go across and then back of the knuckles, right? I would say a great one with that pisiform bone, with the hammer down, just go for a hammer down and you break their collarbone. Old school, if you didn't want to kill someone, but you wanted to really hurt them, you would bring that down on that pisiform bone and shatter their collarbone. And when they shatter their collarbone, they're not going to be able to move their arm, right? So they're going to be out for a long time, it's going to be a long healing process if they ever even fully heal from it 100%, right? So feel your own collarbone right now. You can tap with the pisiform bone, and you can feel how sensitive that is. That as you went down, you connected, right? In that area, it could shatter their collarbone and really hurt them. But even if you didn't get that, and even if you got like more at the top of the neck, it would still hurt. It will still hurt. Okay. So I would say if you can go for it for the long range, you got to really stick to long range. And also, let's just say if I'm here and I want to come down, what I would say is you can even twist a little bit. So you can do more of a reach too. I would say if you're shorter, go with the short range. Short range is known for people who are smaller than the fighter. And the reason is because when you're short range, you could actually get way more shots in and really get into these vitals. And for long range people, they tend to be taller people, right? Because even coming down here, it's a lot easier if you're taller or at least same height, to come down when you're a little bit taller on top of someone else, right? So when you're short range, I would say try to go for chest, neck, then you have to come up, hit, under the jaw or groin. Even if you were to do one of these coming up from low for short range, you might as well just do that. Just swing your arm forward and hit them in the groin. So then it is for you to do one of these and maybe have to reach forward. Okay, so that's more about to your own stature, to the person. So a great way for you to start learning is actually just imagining people of how you would fight them. That is some of the best ways for you to learn, honestly, how to fight, because it will become second nature. You'll be like, oh man, if I was standing right there, if I wanted to hit that person, I would do this, 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 and this. Like you will start to look at people a little bit differently. And that's really the key that I want you guys to know. It's not about learning this move that might not work out, because every situation is different, because I can't promise this person will be hitting you with their left hand like this, so I think in situations where, you really don't know, because real life is like, you don't know, you need to have these more foundational things and be like, okay, for that person, I would do this. For this person, I'll do that. And you know what, if that person's standing like this, I think I would have a good shot getting that, So when you look at people, you will look at people completely differently. Martial artists, you look at people completely different. You look at them and like, oh, that would be a great move to do on that person, right? So it's not to say that you're trying to be violent, but you just see the possibility, so that if something were to happen, it'll be very easy for you to just have it instinctually. Oh yeah, you're like, because a lot of it is also distancing, right? You have to learn your distancing. So if you're like, okay, if I'm about this close and my arm's about here, I have this much distance. So that's also something for you to learn. You could just have a friend or something, you just put your hand out and be like, okay, so that's my distancing for this. If I turn, if I did a hammer, how far can I reach? And that's something you want to practice as well. Because you don't want to do all these things and it not land, right? And even at the moment of, I'm sure you will adjust for that, right, really quickly. But at the same time, it's a lot faster if you just start looking at people in ways of fighting and defending yourself now. Next. Okay, so the best ways to use your strength. There's this old saying. It's a Tai Chi saying, actually. It is 4 ounces can move 1,000 pounds. 4 ounces can move 1,000 pounds is very, very true. It's this Tai Chi saying, because you really don't need that much energy as long as you know what you're doing, right? So now we're going to discuss a little bit more about how you do that. But I would say the most important thing with it is committing to it. 4 ounces can't move 1,000 pounds if you don't have a committed 4 ounces. And I just want you guys to know, just in general right now, you already have everything, that you need to kill someone. And I want to say it like, oh my God, kill someone, but it's true. You don't need more. Like, you don't need like more weapons or anything. Like, you are equipped. Like, even feeling this, you feel like just this little bit, you feel like how much energy there is in these little bones that come down. People break bricks and people break these things. You don't need to break a brick to like kill someone, right? So anyway, just wanted to make that note. So let's talk about some vitals. Okay, so the 4 ounces move 1,000 pounds. vitals are very, very important for that. Okay. Eyes. I would say if you have a shot, go for the eyes. Always go for the eyes. The eyes will just get them really, in a mindset where they're just protecting themselves at that point. They're not even going to go for you anymore when they can't see. So some people do this poking thing. I say use the whole hand. Okay, use the claw. You'll hear like tiger claw. There's a lot of like martial arts styles that's animalistic. That's like just the whole hand, whole claw. Just get it in there, rip down. Okay? Be careful that your hands. You don't want your hands to ever go in someone's mouth. Okay, because the jaw to bite down is actually very strong. So you don't want to lose like a finger. So just think of eyes, scratching. Ears. Ears are very, very important. You've seen people do this, right? And they start bleeding. Okay, even the pressure, right? The pressure of the air coming in. So I mean that's a pretty iconic move. But ears in general, you pull on someone's ears, that's where like you hit someone in the ears, it's gonna hurt. Anywhere on the neck. The carotid artery is right here. I've been, someone accidentally kicked me there, and I mean like the foot slipped and hit me in the neck, and I couldn't even feel my neck. I remember I was at a tournament, and like I was so scared because I didn't want to move my head, I didn't want to turn my neck because I couldn't feel anything, and it was just an accidental penalty, that they just did, and I know that person didn't mean it. So it was just to let you know how sensitive it is. So if you do one of those hammer, anything short, even around the neck, that would hurt. Okay? And you poking yourself here, you feel how sensitive that would hurt. So there, obviously, groin, anywhere in the kidneys, ribs, anywhere where there are no muscles, which is right under the nipples on the sides. There's really no muscles protecting that. I mean, you have like your serratus muscle, but that's not really going to protect you. You could just go in, and that will like knock the wind out of them. Kneecaps, things like that. But you know what? Kneecaps and stuff we don't have to talk about now. If we do something in person, we'll talk about kneecaps. So some of the things that you can think of when you go for these vitals is twisting. I think twisting is extremely important. So I want you to do this right now with your shirt. Grab, pull, grab, pull. Now do this. Grab your shirt, twist your shirt. Okay? You feel the amount of force. All you have to do is twist, and all of a sudden it's like, well, where did that come from? Right? Same thing. Ears. You just don't grab the ears. You grab and you twist the ears. Right? Same thing, nipples. You don't grab them, you grab the nipples, you twist the nipples. You grab the groin and you twist the groin. You always grab and twist. Grab, twist, pull. That's really the sequence, right? So sometimes this is just like you just slip. Your hands will just slip right through. You have to grab and you have to twist and then, right? And then pull. Same thing. That's why, like, you see more of the traditional, like holding someone down. But same thing, you have to grab, you gotta twist their arm, and then you see them, the traditional like holding someone on one hand on their shoulder or their elbow, right? But anyway, but anything like vitals, beautiful if you grab and twist. Even skin, you grab and twist the skin, it would hurt. Okay, so always grab and twist. And there's this old school saying, not all martial arts styles, but I've studied this other martial arts style where they have this saying where you never bring your hand back empty. So that means if you bring your hand, and let's just say you hit someone, let's just say you hit them in the ear or you hit them here, you come back and you open your hand and you grab. You have to grab something when you bring your hand back, right? Grab him and you hit him. Okay, so you can just think about that. Okay, so if you want to use something like that, I think that's always a very powerful move because most people aren't ready for you to grab them and pull them towards you, especially on a vital area. Push versus bounce. So let's just say for the close range that we're talking about, if you push someone, you wanna use that force to almost bounce them away. Because let's just say if they're like super big or super strong. So only you put your hand right here, and let's just say this: you take your other hand and now put your hand on like you're trying to push it. All right. Now try this. Take your hand and bounce your hand off of it, like use that momentum of the other hand and bring your hand back. So it's okay. So the difference again is, this pushing versus this bouncing. Because what you want to do is you don't want to just like push someone like this. I mean, shoving is more of a bounce energy, but you really want to think of like a back. It's like you're extending your arm, but not fully locking, not fully locking your elbows. Okay, you're coming out and you're coming in a little bit because you want to relax. Because the thing is, if you want to push them again and push them again, you can, right? You could do it several times. But this shoving thing is this one energy forward, and they could just push you back. It's kind of like then you're at this war of like pushing. No, you want this. It's a fast shove. Okay, it's a in Kung Fu we call it dan lick, which is just it's shove. You go so fast to like bounce them away. It's like yes, they might move back and like be bounced back, but that's just a reaction of the insides also feeling. It's almost like their insides are starting to shake because of how forceful you just push them or shove them. Really, not push, but like this shove or this bounce energy away. Right. So if they're close to you, especially in the short range, and you've gotten to their space where they're also uncomfortable, you can just shove them away, right? And then maybe you can do your long fist or just get away, right? Okay, for the sake of time, I want to make sure that I get through everything. So if I do this seminar again, I will do more new things. Okay, so I want to just go through the weapons. Okay? Any weapon you have can be a weapon that can be used against you. Anything. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind if you're someone that wants to carry some sort of weapon. So what I think is anything can be a weapon. So you want to learn how to use normal things as weapons. I'm almost positive that you can't carry. You would, if you use a knife, that can be used against you, and I think that's actually illegal. Don't quote me on it, but I think it is. Okay, so what you want to do is, let's just say you're just walking and something. If you have keys, okay, think of if I'm sure some people have done the thing where like they put the key right between their knuckles, kind of like sticks out, kind of like this or something, right? If you were to use that will scrape their face. That would probably cause a lot of bleeding. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't need a knife to cut through the skin. Okay, so you can have that ready. Okay, and also when it comes to things like my favorite is it's a water bottle. So this is just a normal water bottle, but this metal water bottle that is so common that a lot of people have just normal metal water bottles, especially now in the summer. This becomes an extension of your arm. Remember talking about like this, almost your arm you can use like a bat and really go in and swing that and hit in that hammer type of energy. Well, you can go across the face, go for the temples, right? And that energy, right? You can think of your arm as the bat. Well, this adds another like 6, 7, 8 inches to that. That distance is not even your force. Your force can be exactly the same. That distance added to that circumference, the hit will hurt so much more. You probably knock them out. I mean, even me feeling this, like that, it would knock someone out. I mean, going across the face with that, the jaw could probably break someone's jaw. So it's. I want you to be able to see your own items like that could be in your bag a little bit differently. And something as simple as a pen. Like a pen. You just this. Someone's neck, kill them. I mean, I've opened up boxes with the pens. You just go here and you just do that, and you just open up the box, and, right? So I've opened up like it doesn't take a lot. This one in someone's ribs, right? Also, if you do that, in, don't just poke, in, scratch. Scratching is better, okay? In, scratch, okay? So, eyes, just anything on the face even. If you put enough energy with a pen, that would really hurt. Hurt. That might kill them depending on where you hit. Right? So I want you to just know that about your own materials. Right? Now, if you really need to use a pepper spray, okay, so because I feel like I need to address the pepper spray because I think that's like the most common thing that people are using now for self-defense. You have to practice it. Okay? With the pepper spray, it's useless if it's not second nature. Okay, think of it this way. If someone were to use pepper spray on me for some reason, if you take it out and you don't take it out fast enough and I realize it's pepper spray, I'm just going to smack it out of your hand. Like right? Like no one's going to let you use pepper spray against them. So it has to be fast. You have to, every pepper spray has a different locking feature to make sure that you don't spray yourself. Practice that over and over again. Like be super serious about practicing that as a skill. Because now it becomes a weapon, so it's a skill that you need to have how to open it quickly and spray. And usually the pepper spray, there's like 25 shots around. You should just go somewhere where you can obviously not have people around you, but just practice. Even time yourself, practice. Take it out, spray. See how fast it is, because the thing is. You want to make sure that you can do it really quickly and do it right, because you want to spray across the eyes. Well, first thing, you got to spray across the eyes. Go back and forth spraying across the eyes. Two, I know that this sounds intuitive, but in case it's not, when you spray, you press and spray. Okay, so if you're going really fast, if you're doing this, and by the time you're like your arm is here and then you press, you might not actually get the person that much, right? So always press first, cross. And because the thing is, even if you miss, let's say if the person's in the middle, and I press and cross, it's okay because my arm is here and I can press again and go across. Okay? So just make sure you're not going across and then kind of like pressing it as you go because you're trying to time it. If you try to time it for the middle, you'll probably miss and you'll be too far over already. So you got to press as you're going across. So think of pressing in the beginning, because if you press in the beginning, you'll probably land in the middle. And even if you don't, you're going to go across anyway, because you should be doing this back and forth. If you're in a situation where you have to press and do it, you might as well make sure that you do it a couple times and make sure that you practice. I would say even buy an extra one to practice. So, finish a whole one, like finish a whole pepper spray first. Buy two, finish a whole pepper spray. And then you can have a fresh one if you want, but make sure that you still practice once on a new one, just so that you know that it works. Sometimes the mechanisms and stuff, you just want to make sure that one isn't defective. So practice it, make sure that you're clearing it, unlocking it fast. Okay, so that's if you really want to use a pepper spray. I will also warn you that smell is no joke. Like, I know that we're all happy to be maskless, but you might want to wear a mask when you practice. Okay. Oh yeah, and also make sure the wind is not blowing at you. You gotta blow it away. Okay, so my last takeaway, because I know I'm out of time. So the last takeaway is there's three things that is in Kung Fu, or honestly all fighting. I would say it's Kung Fu, all fighting. Is the first priority is guts in fighting. Second is power, and your third is martial arts, is Kung Fu. First is guts, second is power, third is Kung Fu. That's how you know who wins. So yes, as in guts will trump the fact that someone knows Kung Fu. Okay, so, or power. Power is really encompassing of all your strength, right? Because if someone is physically bigger and taller, someone who's huge can beat someone who knows a lot of martial arts, right? So then that is where you have a lot of these, like, who would win a fight debate. Because you have some people that, like, they have the youth, the size. Can they beat someone who's like an 80-year-old martial art master? Maybe, So it's hard. It's hard to say. So it's really the combination of those three. Okay, because you can see with especially the guts, like some people have that crazy in their eyes that you're like, oh, like they're ready to like hurt someone, like that crazy in their eyes that you're like, okay, that can make anyone scared, right? That's what I mean by guts. So you have to be able to do it and to really turn it on. And it really is a combination of the three. So even though I can teach you as much, that all I'm really teaching you today is really within the third, which is like Kung Fu, which is things that will be helpful for you to know. But to just make everyone feel a little bit better, because I know you're like, well, what if they're really strong and they're really, it's all a combination. Maybe you have some Kung Fu, you have some strength, you have some guts, right? It's all a ratio of the three, okay? Let's just say this. You don't need a ton to really be effective fights and really quickly. You just need to turn it on. And what I mean by that is, you guys remember the older lady in San Francisco who like got attacked, anti-Asian attack, but she beat up the younger man who's bigger than her, right? Younger and bigger and stronger. I don't know if she knows Kung Fu, but I'm just gonna assume that she didn't really know that much Kung Fu, okay? What I saw from that, I was like, you know how she won? The first one. She turned on she had the guts that like just went for it. And it's a fine line between like guts and crazy, to be honest. It's like that thing about you that you just like, I'm just gonna go and hammer this person, right? Go crazy on this person. You kind of have to pull it out of you, because as long as you can pull it out of you, most likely you will win, because I think most fights can be determined with that first. Okay, so now the second thing I just want to say with that lady, I'm not sure if you guys ever seen especially the cartoon. Someone did a really cute cartoon of her holding a stick. She did exactly what one of the things I said, right? She grabbed something and started hitting him with it. It's significantly the amount of force from the end of that stick that she like, beat him up with. It just makes whatever energy and strength she had like times whatever, double or whatever. I really don't know, but like a lot more, right? So your number two can be increased by just grabbing something, hitting something. But I do feel like that any type of fighting, it is a combination of the three. I don't care what style of fighting, you can always boil it down to like a ratio of those three. But I would say that is it for today. I think I'm gonna turn it over to Philip if he would like to talk.
Sure.
If you would like to talk.
Great. Thank you. That was all incredibly informative. Like, I had my notebook out here and learned a lot of things, and hopefully people never have to use this advice, but it's great to have if you find yourself in the situation. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this for us all, and wish you a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Great. Bye.